Two names whispered through history. One, a global icon who walked free after 27 years in prison to lead a nation. The other, a revolutionary who challenged imperialism, only to be silenced at the peak of his youth. Nelson Mandela and Thomas Sankara, both African, both visionaries, but their paths couldn't be more different. Mandela was born in 1918 in the rural village of Mvezo in South Africa. Born into royalty, yet shaped by injustice. Thomas Sankara arrived decades later, in 1949, in French Upper Volta. A soldier, a thinker, a bold speaker who rode to power on a bike, not a bulletproof car. Mandela spoke of reconciliation, of a rainbow nation. Sankara? Sankara thundered for revolution, against the West, against greed, and even against complacency. But which of them left a deeper mark? Which one held the truest promise of African liberation? This isn't a battle of legends. It's a journey, a mirror held up to Africa's past, and a lens into its future. Through archives, untold quotes, forgotten clips, and raw truth, this is not just history. This is a rediscovery. Before the world called them revolutionaries, they were boys. Boys raised in the cradle of African identity, born into different lands, but under the same heavy sky of colonialism. In the green hills of the Eastern Cape in South Africa, a young Rolihlahla Mandela ran barefoot through red dust. Rolihlahla, a Xhosa name meaning pulling the branch of a tree, or more playfully, troublemaker, a name that seemed to predict destiny. He was born into Thembu royalty, not a palace, but a community built on the echoes of oral history and ancestral pride. Mandela listened to the stories of warriors, of land lost, of dignity stripped by apartheid's creeping grip. Meanwhile, over 2,000 miles north, in Upper Volta, today's Burkina Faso, another fire was kindling. Thomas Sankara, son of a military veteran and a mother who dreamed of freedom, grew up watching French soldiers walk freely, while African men bowed their heads. He questioned everything. Where Mandela found roots in tribal heritage, Sankara found rebellion in books. He devoured Karl Marx, Che Guevara, and the poetry of revolution. His guitar sang not of love, but of struggle. At just 17, he joined the military, not to serve colonial powers, but to understand their machinery, to learn the system, so he could one day dismantle it. Two men, one in uniform, one in a robe, one trained by colonizers, the other tried in their courts, but both heard the same cry: Africa must rise. Their rebellion didn't begin with fists. It began in the heart, in classrooms, in whispers, in stolen books, in quiet oaths made under starry African skies.
That this year, all of us will, at last, achieve our emancipation.
Mandela dreamed of voting with dignity. Sankara dreamed of Africans eating what they grew, drinking what they built, and ruling their own lives. Before the statues, before the speeches, and before the legend, there was prison, there was betrayal, there was exile, and there was loss. Struggle does not ask for permission. It barges in, demands everything, and gives nothing in return. For Mandela and Sankara, This was the price of purpose. In the shadows of apartheid, Mandela made a choice few dared to whisper: armed resistance. As co-founder of Umkhonto we Sizwe, the Spear of the Nation, he left behind peaceful protest for sabotage. In 1962, he was captured. The courtroom was quiet, but his words thundered through time. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die. He was sentenced to life on Robben Island. 27 years. Stone walls, iron bars, cold silence. Sankara didn't wait for freedom. He seized it. In 1983, at just 33, he led a bloodless coup and became president of Burkina Faso. But he wasn't chasing power. He was chasing transformation. He slashed his salary, banned luxury cars, renamed the country Burkina Faso, land of upright people. He vaccinated millions, planted 10 million trees. He made women ministers, farmers heroes. He refused foreign aid. He who feeds you controls you, he warned. But rebels don't just challenge colonizers. They challenge their own comfort. And that made him dangerous. For Mandela, the struggle took time. It stole birthdays, fatherhood, and half a lifetime. But it couldn't steal his dignity. From a cell, he became a symbol. His silence became South Africa's scream. For Sankara, the cost came fast. His vision, radical, uncompromising, earned him enemies. On October 15, 1987, he was assassinated in a coup led by his close ally. 12 bullets silenced his voice, but not his vision. Time passes, leaders fall, statues rise, but the question remains, what is a legacy? In 1990, after 27 years, the world watched with bated breath as Nelson Mandela walked free. No vengeance in his eyes, no bitterness on his tongue. 4 years later, he became South Africa's first black president. The man they locked away now held the key to a nation's healing. He forgave. He led. He united. Mandela taught us that freedom is not revenge, it is restraint. That dignity is the armor of change, and that leadership, real leadership, walks slowly, listens deeply, and embraces even those who once broke you. Thomas Sankara never lived to see a gray beard. He never stepped down from power. He never compromised. And perhaps that's why he never survived. But his fire, it never died. Across Africa and beyond, young revolutionaries chant his name. His speeches echo through classrooms, rallies, street protests, and songs. Dare to invent the future, he said. And many have. Mandela and Sankara walked different roads. One walked through decades of prison bars. The other sprinted through revolution with fire in his eyes. Mandela preached reconciliation. Sankara demanded reform. One taught us patience. The other, urgency. But both were mirrors. Reflections of an Africa that dares to dream differently, that fights with both wisdom and courage. Mandela said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Sankara said, "We must choose either champagne for a few or safe drinking water for all." Two voices, one heartbeat, one dream.
Commando a été un très grand succès Nous avons vacciné des millions et des millions d'enfants.
History remembers names, but forgets the echoes. At the VoiceLens, we chase those echoes. If you've made it this far, you're not just a viewer, you're part of a movement. A quest to rediscover Africa's boldest voices, untold struggles, and timeless wisdom. Subscribe, share, speak. Let the world hear our story through the VoiceLens.